Hello children, welcome back to Reading I Ready. My name is Mrs. Ryder. If you do not know me, if you do, great. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into it, shall we? All you need today is a pencil. I do expect you to get that out quickly, right now, quietly. Let's go. What are we doing today? So, I Ready is designed to improve your performance, your academic performance. Specifically, right now, reading, okay? We are wanting to lift your weaknesses, lift you up academically, so you are the best you can be academically, okay? We are wanting to make big gains with you and make you the best you can be because we care about you, we want you to do your best, and we want to prepare you for the milestones. That is what we are preparing you for. So let's talk about today's learning target for Reading I Ready. This is the learning target that we designed specifically for your group that you are in right now. I can connect figurative language to tone and meaning. So, for these students that I am talking to right now, you specifically need to grow in figurative language understanding and tone and how all that drives to meaning, okay? How all these things connect to make meaning in a text, okay? So that is what we are going to channel today. So before we get into it, I want us to remember what some of these things are. First is tone. Students, you should already know what tone is. In ELA, we've talked about tone constantly. In fact, it was in our last formative and in our last unit. This is something you already know, but just so we all understand, let's talk about it for a second. Tone is how the author feels when they are writing something, okay? It's how they feel. So, say they want to write something very creepy and dark. Are they going to use a lot of comical words? Are they going to be funny? No. Okay? Because they want you to be creeped out. They want you to be on the edge of your seat. So they are going to use very serious language. Venom dripped from her eyes as she stared into the hallway, ready to pounce. Very dark, very serious. I also just used figurative language, if you could have picked that out. Venom dripping from her eyes. You can see, you can feel the darkness, the seriousness in that little passage that I just said, or the sentences that I just said. You're welcome. So that's a very serious tone. But say you are writing a book or an author is writing a book about a middle schooler that gets in all these goofy, funny situations. You're going to use a lot of comical language, okay? You're going to use some cute little funny situations. You'll write in a funny way. So this is all tone. The word choice that authors often use dictates tone or influences tone, okay? So that is tone. The way the author feels when writing something. Figurative language, that is language that goes beyond the literal sense, okay? We don't actually mean what we just said. There's a underlying meaning. There is a figurative meaning, or our figurative language has another meaning. So let's talk about it. If I said, my stomach, I have knots in my stomach. I can't go into that classroom. I'm not ready for the test. Do I really have knots in my stomach? Are there ropes inside of my tummy that are all knotted up together, tangled together? No. That would be an emergency. No. That really means that I'm nervous. Having knots in my stomach means that I'm nervous. If I picked up my bag at the end of the day and I go, oh my gosh, my bag weighs a ton. No. Does it weigh a ton? Does it? It may feel like a lot of weight up in that bag, but it is not a ton. A bag, like a little book bag, like the book bag that you have right now, does not weigh as much as a car, okay? You're being dramatic. You're using a hyperbole. A hyperbole is figurative language. That is an exaggeration, okay? A hyperbole is an exaggeration. When you read the word, I do hear some children say hyperbole. That's not exactly how you say it. Hyperbole. Okay, if I said the rock was shining like a star on the beach, that'd be interesting. I would think that that's a diamond, but who knows? Maybe it's just a pretty shiny rock. That is also figurative language, shining like a star. That, did I say shining like a rock? Rock shining like a star is what I meant to say, if I didn't say that. The rock was shining like a star. That is a simile. When we use like or as to compare one thing to another, that's figurative language. That's a simile. But if I said the rock was a star on the beach, that is a metaphor because I'm directly comparing it without using like or as. There's lots of types of figurative language. There's personification. That's when we give non-human things human characteristics. So for example, if I said the rain sang all around Upson Lee Middle School, does that actually mean the rain is coming from the sky going, it's Upson Lee Middle School? No. Okay, that's weird. If the rain comes down from the sky singing like that, something's wrong. Run. Run far away. Rain doesn't do that. That just means it's a nice sounding sound. It's a nice sounding sound that you can hear all around the middle school. Okay? If I said the leaves were dancing in the wind, can the leaves actually get off the ground and start doing the Charleston? No. That would also be weird. It means that the leaves are flowing. It looks like they're dancing as they move around in the wind, okay? That's personification. There's also alliteration. That's when each word in a phrase or a sentence or whatever, it starts with the same sound. So Sally sold seashells by the seashore, okay? Mommy made me eat my M&Ms. All those are alliterations, okay? And then we have idioms, little figurative phrases, like, you really nailed it. That doesn't actually mean that you got a hammer and you nailed something. That means you did really well. Great job. And you're nailing this by staying focused on me. You aren't distracting your neighbor, are you? Your eyes are on me, aren't they? Aren't they? Good. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's practice. We will read 2 texts with this objective in mind. Connect figurative language to tone to make meaning, okay? Expectations during reading. This is very, very important, children. Very important. I need you all to stay focused and follow along. When I am reading to you, I expect you to follow along, all right? Make annotations. I need you to make annotations, okay? Make annotations. That's during reading, note-taking, okay? So, for example, there should be space on one side of the paper that you've been given or you are about to be given, okay? And you should be able to write notes over there. So you can write things like, I wonder why she did that. If I were her, I would have done this. This reminds me of a time when I was 10 years old and I blah, 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 blah. It's a note-taking place. It's a note-taking strategy also. That's what annotations do. Also, circling words you don't know. That's annotations. Stay focused. Do not distract others, okay? Listen to me. I need you to stay focused on me this entire time, unless we're reading. Then you're focused on me and the paper in front of you, okay? So, without further ado, I am going to begin. So, I'm going to pull it up so you know exactly what you should be looking at. This is a little story called Hazel Down the Rabbit Hole. It looks like this, but you have your own copy. It's a little fuzzy up here, but you have your own copy. I need my teacher, whoever's in the classroom, to make sure everyone has a copy of this. You will need this. You will need to be annotating as I read. When I'm reading to you, you need to be following along with your pencil, okay? Follow along with your pencil, okay? That will let me and your teacher know that you are engaged, that you are following along, and you are participating. So without further ado, We are going to go ahead and get started. I am going to read to you, and then we are going to talk about this, okay? We are going to dive into this deeper as it pertains or it relates to figurative language and tone and how those push meaning, okay? So, this is called Hazel Down the Rabbit Hole. Paragraph 1. Put your pencil there, follow along. I could smell sweet stardom as Mrs. Pearson announced the cast of the 6th grade play Alice in Wonderland. The role of Alice goes to Denise Taylor, she said. Who? Something in my stomach went splat. At my old school, I was the one who'd gotten every starring role. Now I felt as pathetic as Alice taking a belly flop down the rabbit hole. It took Mrs. Pearson longer than forever to get to my name, and when she finally did, she read, Hazel Woods, Tyler Ames, and Ella Contrail, Hedgehogs. She announced this as if we'd just won $1 million, but the Hedgehogs had no lines to say. They just got batted around with croquet mallets and then disappeared forever. Mrs. Pearson called the Hedgehogs after class. I have a special job for you. Could you go to the storage room and put together costumes? You might need to get creative. I felt as enthusiastic as a stone. Great, thank you, said Mrs. Pearson. Had we actually agreed? I didn't think so. Come on, Hedgies, said Ella. We have lots of special, creative things to do in the storage room, she said, with an eye roll that went around the world and back. In the storage room, Tyler opened a trunk and pulled out a what? There we go. Pulled out a velvet robe that was crawling with moths. Yuck! He screeched as he threw it to the ground. Ella was doing ballet warm-ups. I really wanted to be the Queen of Hearts, she said, sweeping her hand in an arc over her head. Yeah, well, I wanted to be the Cheshire Cat, said Tyler, kicking the moth-eaten robe, then twirling around with his hands clasped together above his head. I really wanted to be Alice, I said, slumping like a sad, wet rag against the wall. Maybe I should just go back to gymnastics, which was my thing before acting. What does a hedgehog even look like? Said Tyler, as he pulled a fake gold crown out of the costume trunk. He put it on, stuck out his tongue, then did a spin and bowed in front of us as he took the crown off. That will work for the Queen of Hearts, said Ella glumly, not even noticing Tyler's graceful move. She raised her legs so it was almost parallel to her body. She and Tyler both seemed like really accomplished dancers. I'm going to pause here because you see a word in bold, parallel. Parallel means side by side or side to side, okay? That means like this. They're parallel from one another, not like this. Parallel, side by side. Suddenly, I had an idea. Why don't you guys come over to my house this weekend? I said. I think we can make this play way more fun. There was a pause that lasted about 2 days. Did it actually last 2 days? I think not. Then Ella said, okay, I'm in. Me too, said Tyler. 2 weeks later, the three of us stood backstage waiting for our cue at the first dress rehearsal. We looked as authentic as 3 porcupines in baby onesies, but our costumes didn't matter. Let the games begin, said the Queen of Hearts. 1, 2, 3, I counted. Then we ran on stage in a tight single file, steps synchronized and arms pumping in unison. Pause another time. Synchronized. Let me tell you what synchronized means. That's a bold word on your paper. It means moving together at the same time. Okay, the same time. So in chorus, if you're in chorus or if you're in band, a lot of times y'all are making music, making sounds at the same time. That means you are synchronized, doing things at the same time. Just like all of you are very focused, you are synchronized in your focus on this text. Thank you. Let's continue. Paragraph 25. We stopped in front of the Queen of Hearts and curtsied. Her eyes pretty much popped out of her head. "What was that?" she said. It's the hedgehog shuffle," I said, my heart booming like a set of bongos. We looked at Mrs. Pearson. Her mouth formed a big O, like someone in a movie who's just gotten terrible news. Then suddenly she clapped. "Phew. That was fantastic, hedgehogs," she said. Then she looked at Denise. "Well, Queen, what are you waiting for? Your next line, please." I glanced at Tyler and Ella. We were about to make hedgehog history. "Hand me a mallet," said the Queen, sounding unsure of herself. Then she aimed at hedgehog number 1, Ella. When the mallet touched her, Ella pirouetted across the stage. Another word in bold. Let's talk about it. Pirouetted means spun around on one foot like a ballerina. Like pirouetted. Pirouette. Okay. Let's keep going. Paragraph 31. "Ooh," said everyone. The mallet came down on hedgehog number 2, Tyler. Bop! Tyler did a dance move he called the sideways moonwalk. "Ah," said the cast. The Queen looked excited as she prepared to hit hedgehog number 3. Me? When the mallet tapped me, I did 3 somersaults, a cartwheel, and finally a backflip. As everyone erupted into cheers and applause, my new school started feeling a lot less like the rabbit hole and a little more like home. So, there you go. That is our first text, Hazel Down the Rabbit Hole. Let's talk about what we are going to do now. Going back to my slideshow. After reading that, you should go to the part of your paper that has the activity. It has identify tone at the top. So please go there, please. Please go there, please. I said it many times. Please, please, please. We're going to identify tone. So remember, figurative language goes beyond the literal meaning. Okay? So this story has a lot of figurative language in it. I kind of popped in maybe once or twice to say, did that really? That sounded like a hyperbole. I didn't say hyperbole, but anyway. You should have been able to identify a lot of figurative language in there. I saw lots of onomatopoeias. I saw metaphors. I saw similes. I mean, they are rampant, as in really up in this text. Okay, you should be able to identify several, but this is what you are going to do. For each example on the chart, on your paper, under Identify Tone, identify the type of figurative language and explain its meaning and its tone. Then, answer the questions below. Okay, so I think there's 2 questions under there. You'll answer those below. But I really want you to focus on this chart right here. So remember your figurative language. A hyperbole is an exaggeration, okay? If I said, I'm so tired I could sleep forever. No, you can't sleep forever unless you're dead. Not dead. But you don't really sleep forever, okay? Or here, there's a better example for forever. Mrs. Ryder, I can't possibly do this. Homework is going to take forever. Will the homework take forever? No, it won't. No, it won't. So a hyperbole is an exaggeration. Onomatopoeia are those sound words like Oink, that's an onomatopoeia. Boom, that's an onomatopoeia. Splat, that's an onomatopoeia. Something else. If I said she was as graceful as a fairy, that's a simile. But if I said she was a fairy, and she's not really a fairy, she's being compared to a fairy, but directly, that would be a metaphor, okay? So there's several types of figurative language in this piece. I want you to be able to pick out each one here. I'm going to give you 7 minutes to independently do this part. So that means by yourself. During this time, I need your mouth to be quiet shut. And your eyes are on your paper. And your pencil is in your hand. And you are working to complete this chart on your own. We want to see what you know, what you took away from this text, what you took away from the things I said to you just now. I need you to focus. I need you to put all your energy and attention into this paper. So, my dear teacher, if it's not me in the classroom, but if it's someone else in the classroom, the teacher, Mr., Mrs. Teacher, whoever, please, I will walk away. You pause the video for 7 minutes, work quietly, and then we will go over it together. I'm back. Let's go over it, children. So, I'm going to go over the chart with you. The chart right here. Let's go under right here where it says screeched. Screeched is a word from paragraph 12. Raise your hand if you think that is a hyperbole, an exaggeration. If your hand is up, put it down because that's wrong. Raise your hand if you think it is a simile, using like or as to make a comparison between two things. Is your hand up? I hope not. Put it down. That's wrong. Raise your hand if you think it is a onomatopoeia. Perfect. It is. Screeched is sound. It's screeched. That's sound. Okay? That is an onomatopoeia. So let's talk about the meaning. What does that show? Well, it shows Tyler's extreme disgust. He screeched. That is a reaction that shows meaning, that shows he is disgusted, okay? That is the meaning there. Now, what is the tone there? Is it sad? No, it's not sad. Is it scary? No, I don't think so. Think about the word choice. Would you say dramatic or silly? I think yes. Yes. Dramatic, silly, like me. All right, let's go down to the next one, shall we? Slumping like a sad, wet rag. That is from paragraph 15. Raise your hand if you think that's a metaphor. Is your hand raised? I hope not, because that's wrong, but it's close to the actual answer. Raise your hand if you think it's a simile. Perfect. I should see hands up. I mean, I can't because this is a recording, but that's neither here nor there. If you have your hand raised for a simile, you are 100% correct. Give yourself a little pat on the back, or don't. I don't want you to burp yourself or hurt yourself, so let's not do that. It is a simile. Key word is like. Slumping like a sad, wet rag, okay? She's comparing herself to a little wet, sad little rag up against the wall, okay? That sounds pretty darn sad. All right, so that's a simile. What is the meaning there? Why would the story be written that way? Why would that part in the story be written that way? Think about it. Why would it be written that way? Well, I'll tell you. It is a comparison that shows Hazel's disappointment. She was up against the wall like a sad, wet little rag. That sounds sad. That sounds disappointed. Okay? So, what's the tone there? That kind of helps us see the tone. Yeah, it's dramatic, but it's disappointment. It's kind of sad. All right? Disappointment. That's the tone there. And you see how tone can kind of change a little bit through the story, just depending on the situation, the words being used? Interesting. Let's go on to the next one. A pause that lasted about 2 days. A pause that lasted about 2 days. Raise your hand if you think that is a onomatopoeia. I hope nobody is raising their hand because, nope, that is wrong. This is not a sound. Raise your hand if you think, Raise your hand if you think it's a hyperbole. I really hope everyone is raising their hand. That is correct. A hyperbole is an exaggeration. A pause can't possibly last that long. 2 days. That is way too long. Okay? So, ow, my nose is so itchy. What is the meaning with using that? Why would that phrase be used? Why would it be used? It's to be dramatic, right? It's to suggest the other kids extreme doubt that the play could actually be fun, right? It's being dramatic. And the tone there is kind of brighten up the story a little bit. It's a little funny. All right, that's the point there. So let's go through the next 3 kind of quickly so that we can get to the last part. As authentic as 3 porcupines in baby onesies. It used like or as, so it's a what? Simile, okay? It is a simile, okay? When you use like or as to compare something to something else, it is a simile, all right? Why would it be used? To suggest the costumes are a little ridiculous. And then the tone would be kind of funny, poking fun, okay? Make sense? Awesome. Eyes popped out of her head. That's a hyperbole. Your eyes don't actually pop out of your head. I really hope not. That's a medical emergency. It shows the queen's shock. That's the meaning there. It shows the queen's shock. And it's supposed to be funny, okay? Exaggerated surprise. Finally, we got bada booming like a set of bongos. That's kind of a mixture. That's an onomatopoeia with a simile, okay? The sound with using like or as, all right? And it shows Hazel's excitement or nervousness, okay? A little bit of both, if you will. And then our tone is going to be very, very silly, okay? Got that? So, let's quickly go over this part right here. What is the overall tone of the story? Well, it's funny, okay? For the majority of the story, this is a funny tone story. There's a humorous tone throughout the entire story. So I would say funny or humorous. Funny or humorous. That is the tone we are seeing here. And then how does the meaning of the figurative language help show tone throughout the story? Well, the figurative language, it creates playful, exaggerated, and unexpected, scenarios, images that help convey a humorous tone. Okay, all of this language, all of these images, all the things that we are reading and seeing, it makes the story funny. Okay, that's the main thing here. So, what I want you to do at this point is, we'll get to the other part later, but I want you to begin the teacher-assigned work in iReady, because we are going to put your stuff to the test. What you have learned to the test is what I really mean to say, and we are going to see how you do. So at this point, I would like you, and I'm plugging up my Chromebook because I think it's about to die, who knows, but I want you to put your knowledge to the test. Open your Chromebooks at this time, and I want you to do the teacher-assigned work. It has to do with figurative language and tone. Once you are done with your teacher-assigned work, you will go to My Path and work there. Listen very closely to my instructions. So pause as you are taking out your Chromebooks or opening your Chromebooks. Pause real quick. Look at me. Look at me. Thank you. Look at me. I need you to stay focused, and I need you to be wearing earbuds. You have to use earbuds to do iReady with integrity. You have to have earbuds to hear. You have to have earbuds to hear the instructions, all that stuff. So I need you to take out your earbuds. If you do not have earbuds at this time, we really need to get you some earbuds. Tell your parents, tell whoever you're living with, I need earbuds to do my work at school, okay? We are pretty much almost done with school, and you need earbuds. You're going to need earbuds at milestones as well. So, without further ado, I'm going to let you loose. Work on the teacher assigned work in iReady, and yeah, good luck.